Dinosaurs is one of my favorite creatures out there, and I know I made a lot of dinosaur videos, okay? Like, here's the thing. I know, personally, I made a ton, and I mean a ton of dinosaur videos on this channel. But here's the thing. I do really love dinosaurs, and out of all the periods there are, my favorite period has to be the Cretaceous, obviously. But here's the thing. Dinosaurs is one of a kind. I think dinosaurs is going to impact a lot of people in a way, and I feel like we might bring them back eventually, you know? I mean, for starters, you know, who's stopping us, right? I mean, the only thing that's really going to stop us is how are we going to bring, like, the knowledge. And yeah, I do feel like, you know, we might see dinosaurs in this era. And the reason is, you know, we have so much modern day technology, so much information about dinosaurs, and so much crazy stuff that we're learning day by day about dinosaurs. I mean, for starters, look at the, you know, Triassic period, how, you know, Pangea started and everything like that. And the reason is, just looking at that period, is because, like, that's how everything started, right? That's how lizards, you know, became more evolving, more better, I guess. I mean, to be fair, it's dinosaurs. I mean, it is it's one of the most fascinating creatures out there. I think we might see them alive. I know it sounds a little crazy, but if we can create hybrids, I feel like maybe one day we can somehow create dinosaurs in a whole different section of ways. Even then, you know, we created AI and stuff like this, but I think dinosaurs is, if we ever make them alive, I think we will have our fantasies, you know, and like Jurassic World, and I think it'll be awesome. Oh, you haven't learned from Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. Well, I don't want to learn from that, because I do really want to see what dinosaurs would look like. I mean, they once lived, you know. I think one of my favorite ones also about dinosaurs is, you know, like the Allosaurus, how this creature literally, like, his mouth was like, you know, it could open into a 180 degree. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Another crazy part about dinosaurs is, I'm pretty sure in the Jurassic period, that's when, you know, dinosaurs started growing bigger. I know Cretaceous, that's when dinosaurs really started evolving, even the smaller ones to the bigger ones, and all of that stuff. But the Jurassic period also kind of intrigues me more, especially with stuff like, I think the Saltosaurus lived in the Jurassic period, same thing with the Carnotaurus and all of that. And these things really, somehow, some way, just like, when you look at dinosaurs, right? Somehow, some way, especially in the Jurassic period, you're looking at them and you're like, holy shit, like, this is really cool. And I think the Jurassic period has a whole bunch of crazy looking dinosaurs, you know, in a different way. And the same thing with the Cretaceous, but the Cretaceous is one of the most famous periods out there, and honestly, I generally like it, but simply because, you know, there's a lot more dinosaurs, but I don't like it because I feel like it's a little overrated, you know, extinction event, all of that stuff. But the Cretaceous period is, I guess, one of my favorite, you know, dinosaurs period out there. And simply, again, because out of all of them, you know, the Cretaceous is such a amazing looking, you know, period. I mean, when you look at dinosaurs who's like we've seen and explored, you know, a lot more dinosaurs lived, and especially the bigger ones. I'm talking huge 4 or 5 tons worth of, you know, dinosaurs. And looking at it, and you're just looking at the Cretaceous, you're wondering, like, not only like how big Earth is, but how in the world did, you know, these creatures live among us? These creatures are giant. They're huge. They're tons, and they're on land too. Like, if you see in, you know, if you see in the aquariums, and if you see it like on ocean, it makes sense, because, you know, being fat on ocean actually saves you. It's true, you can look it up. But here's the thing, dinosaurs is a whole different creature and a whole different ballgame, where these creatures literally grew to the point where, you know, 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet. It's crazy in so many levels. I mean, even then, like, some dinosaurs were small, like the Campiosaurus, for example. One of my favorite dinosaurs, actually, one of my favorite smaller dinosaurs, or the Archaeopteryx. I think it's like a half bird, half lizard, something like that. But those two dinosaurs, one of my favorite, is because the Campiosaurus, they can do serious damage when they're on troops, and I'm pretty sure there were like tons of them all over the place. And I honestly think that's pretty cool, right? Like, you know, small dinosaurs all over the place. And I think they can do serious amount of damage if they could just, you know, attack, right? You know, if they're in groups. But, and also the Archaeopteryx, I don't want to forget about it. I mean, I like it because, you know, it can glide. And, oh, big boomer, but, you know, no, it can glide. I think it was one of the first ever gliding dinosaurs, if I'm not mistaken. But out of all the dinosaurs in the world, there has to be two of my favorite dinosaurs, and I cannot, like, it's the colors, okay? I have two favorite colors, red and blue. That's it, right? The American colors. For some reason, those two colors are one of my favorite colors, and they're all equal to me for some reason. These two dinosaurs are the same thing. These two dinosaurs are one of my favorite colors. Utah Raptors, and obviously my favorite, you know, Velociraptors. No, I'm kidding. It's Carnotaurus. What am I thinking? Let me explain why I love both of them. So for starters, Carnotaurus. I feel like it's very underrated dinosaur. One of my favorite reasons why I love Carnotaurus is simply because it hunted in packs. At least that's what it showed. If I'm not mistaken, again, do your own research, but that's what I know personally. Carnotaurus hunted in packs, okay? That's what I think. But mostly hunted alone, and they hunted Saltosaurus. But one of my favorite parts about it is, despite how weak they are, they were pretty fast for their size, and more importantly, their horns. I just love their horns, right? Animals with horns, in my opinion, looks badass. Besides rhinos and bulls for some reason, but Carnotaurus for me just looked badass. I don't know why. All I know, it was fast, it was awesome, and it looked cool. And here's the thing, one of my favorite also dinosaurs is the Utahraptors. Why? Simply because it was a little bit bigger than the Utahraptors, but even better, okay? I think they were as big as bears, by the way, the Utahraptors. But even better, okay? Their claws were massive, bigger than, like, everything about it was bigger. But the best part about the Utahraptors is they can destroy more than the Velociraptors, okay? They can destroy anything in its own path. I think to the point where the Utahraptors and the Velociraptors, if they fight each other, I think the Utahraptors would win. And I feel like Utahraptors is one of the most underrated raptors out there, simply because, you know, Velociraptors is just more common, but the Utahraptors can destroy the Velociraptors, in my opinion. And I feel like they can. I mean, these creatures were giant, they were big, and they hunted like crazy, you know? They hunted, you know, bony creatures. They hunted any kind of creatures, and I absolutely loved it. The two of the worst dinosaurs, in my opinion, would probably be the T-Rex and the Triceratops. I mean, the Carnotaurus, I like the, you know, all of that stuff, but the T-Rex and the Triceratops, they're just too common. I don't like them. But the Giganotosaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs simply because how long it is, and it's actually more powerful than a T-Rex. I mean, it's proven, at least. I mean, here's the thing. Out of all three dinosaurs, you know, out of dinosaurs in general, I just love dinosaurs. And it just went in my whole childhood in a way where it kind of impacted me. Even now, like, I'm just more interested on, you know, what did they eat? What did they do? How did they live? All of that amazing stuff. So we got 2 minutes left of this video. I might as well just talk about more dinosaur stuff. I mean, here's the thing. Dinosaurs were awesome. Done. That's it. Dinosaurs were one of my favorite, you know, creatures out there. And hopefully they can be alive again. And hopefully we can contain them, you know, and no more Jurassic whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'll say, you know, out of all dinosaurs, you know, I know about 2,000 different types of dinosaurs. I think I still know them. I mean, there's a lot of dinosaurs out there, like Ankylosaurus, you know, one of my favorite also armored dinosaurs, the Ankylosaurus. Very common, by the way, very common dinosaur, but there's a reason why I like it, because it was one of the strong ones, okay? It was one of those ones where you fight it, you're fucked. Done. You fight it, you are cooked for good. I think to the point where if you fight those dinosaurs, it's like literally you'll be cooked, right? Same thing with the, you know, Stegosaurus, right? And there's a whole bunch of other Stegosaurus, you know, species and stuff like this. But like the Stegosaurus, for example, you fight it, you are cooked. You're going to try hunt the plates, you are going to get slapped in the face. Even Pachycephalosaurus, bro, Pachycephalosaurus just gave themselves brain damage. I mean, it's literally proven in the fossil evidence. I mean, you can look it up. You really can. It's there. I mean, all of the information I told you, you can look it up. You can probably find it out there. But yeah, you can. And I'd encourage a lot more people to look it up simply because it's dinosaurs. I mean, what else to say? I mean, other than that, that's it. And make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Honestly, I have to go to sleep because it's in the middle of the night. And that's why I've been talking very slow, like, in the past 3 or 4 videos, because I'm recording this in one night. And other than that, I'll take care, and I'll see you guys Monday. Peace out.